Let's begin by telling you that the police command in Kaduna State says it has banned all forms of unlawful gathering by the proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria, including its planned Ashura procession. The command spokesperson, ASP Mansir Hassan, announced the ban in a statement issued on Sunday in Kaduna State. Hassan said the command would not hesitate to bring the full weight of the law to bear on any person or group, especially the outlawed IMN members that dared to violate the ban. He equally said that the hard-earned relative peace in the state can never be compromised by the selfish defiance of a few renegades. Away from that, torrential rains have caused flooding in minor community in Borno State in Nigeria's northeast, which has isolated the town, disrupting travel between Maiduguri, Damaturu and Kano roads. Residents are assessing widespread damage to property and infrastructure, including homes and farms submerged. We have our correspondent Umaru Kirawa on standby in minor community to give an update on this. Umaru, it's good to have you join me. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. Umaru, we hear flooding is affecting minor community in Borno State. What more can you tell us?
Yes, it's an ugly scenario that happened in the early morning hours, around 4 to 5 a.m. in the morning. Like the proverbial statement, the flood came just like a thief in the night and then taking away homes, hospitals, crops. Farms were really affected. And the community, they are struggling to survive after the years of insurgency. And unfortunately, this ugly scenario happened due to a heavy downpour yesterday night that led to the swelling up of a river which flooded the entire community, leaving people, some of them crying and some of them are hopeful that the government will respond to their yearnings and needs. And one of the inhabitants of Menop is here with me, Haji Yagana. I under Sumgule. Falmata. To Falmata, I under Gulumin Kala o Wazana Nala.
Gidan zuwa fajar misalin karfe 5:30 aka fara ruwa. Bai tsaya ba sai wajen karfe 8 ya tsaya. Da muka fito gaba ɗaya garin ruwa ya cinye.
Okay, bayan nan kuma me kuke bukata yanzu a haka?
Muna so a kawo mana tallafi.
Okay, what this woman said is that the incident happened, like I said, around 5 a.m. in the morning, and they have nowhere to go. The flood has affected their houses, including their farms. And I have another commuter here with me because the heavy downpour has really affected travels between Maiduguri and Damaturu and Tangot. Commuters now, because the water is draining gradually, commuters are now gradually passing by. But I have a commuter, Sunday Omega, who will tell us more about the whole scenario. So what is it like here?
All right. Well, when we just came this morning, because I'm on my way coming, I went to check the farm. On my way coming back to Maiduguri, and we cannot have access to the road, and the waters have cut the road. The waters are on the road, so there is no way vehicles can pass. So vehicles have to come in one after the other. That's after the water have really gone back a little bit. But earlier this morning when we came, vehicles cannot pass. Many of us that wanted to quickly pass and go back to Maiduguri, go back to the office, we couldn't pass early this morning hours because of the water. You cannot pass the tar road. It has been blocked by the rain, and everything, was something else. So many vehicles that are supposed to travel to and from Maiduguri, some going to Abuja, Kano, are stuck here. They can't pass. That's the situation right now.
Okay, beside this, what do you have to tell us with regard to what needed to be done to address such kind of issues, particularly in these communities and others?
Well, I'm not a resident here, but talking to some of the residents here, they say what they need in this community is they need a good water system, because they say whenever the rains are much and the river is full, the water floods into their community, into their houses, because there's no good water system. And so it makes them vulnerable to the flood. That's why most of them are leaving their homes right now. And the drainage, or something that is supposed to be a bridge on the main express road, is just like a drainage with a pipe. So if the waters come, if the waters overwhelm that drainage, the waters will cover all the road and enter houses, and the story is different.
Okay, thank you very much, Sunday. And in addition to what Sunday Williams has just said, I have another resident who will tell us more with regard to the magnitude of the situation here. So, Brosalakin Andoro Sumgunde. Okay, Kakao say I Andoro Gulumin Futui Kaoji Adanya.
Umaru, can you hear me? Umaru, can you hear me? Umaru, can you hear me?
Yes.
Unfortunately, we can't take that person to speak on the news. We're pressed for time. Well, thank you so much for your robust correspondence. Umaru Kirawa, thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has put on hold the implementation of the nation's electronic central motor registration for car owners. According to a statement made by FOS spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi on Saturday, the RG gave the order for the e-CMR to be enforced starting on July 29th. Nigerians who said the police were using the enforcement order as a pretext to extort car owners protested the decision. The chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association section on public interest and development law, John Martins, said the directive by Egbetokun to begin enforcing the digitized central motor registry was a blatant disregard for the rule of law. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori will on Monday, July 15th, 2024, swear in the newly elected chairman of the 25 local government councils in the state. Now, this follows Saturday's local government elections conducted by Delta State Independent Electoral Commission for chairmen and councillors in the 25 local government areas of the state. And we have our correspondent, Austin Hazu, standing by for more on this. Austin, good afternoon. Glad to have you join me on the news. Now, we understand swearing-in ceremony is, being held in Delta State. What has it been like so far in terms of the highlights of this event? Austin.
Well, the swearing-in is about to commence here in the state capital, here in Delta State. Various local government chairmen-elects and their vice, including their supporters, have arrived at the state capital for the inauguration ceremony. And the event is currently holding at the event center, the Dome Event Center, along Okpanam Road here in Asaba. The atmosphere from the premise where the event is holding is quite charged. Everyone seems to be so excited because the last local government election held, and it was 2021, and since then, before the tenure elapsed, now that we have the chairman-elect, so everyone seems to be happy that unlike other places where they have the technical committees, but this time around they have duly elected local government chairmen who will be manning the various local government areas to ensure that they're able to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people at the grassroots level. So everywhere in the state capital here, precisely the PDP family is so excited about this achievement by the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborowori, that he has not in any way, infringed on the Constitution, bringing in a caretaker committee.
It would be remiss not to talk about the ruling of the Supreme Court on local government, having financial autonomy. How do you perceive these officers in carrying out their official duties?
Well, some of the local government chairmen-elects, we interviewed some of them yesterday. particularly the one from Okpe local government area, specifically said something that the money accruable to the local government to be made judiciously for the project and the purpose at which it was given to. Likewise, other persons we spoke to, so they all collaborated that, of course, now that the money will be coming directly from the federation accounts, that going into their, the local government account directly, it means that to whom much is given, much is expected, that they will be able to do something judiciously to improve on the standard of living of people living at the grassroots level. Don't forget to wear that within the weekend, when the governor, after casting his vote, he says something that he has been able to, save some money, awaiting the local government elected, that they will hit the ground running with the funds made available. Despite the fact that they will have some HPM that be, manning the local government areas for the past 3 months, that they still have their cash intact for them to hit the ground running. So from the body language of the governor, one can actually deduce and conclude that there will be no, rancor in terms of the funds of the local government, since the money will be coming directly straight to the local government account instead of the joint account by the state government and the local government.
Rancor, Austin, just to build up on what you talked about in terms of revenue allocation, like you rightly mentioned, before now we had what they call the JAC, and that's the Joint Account Allocation Committee, where both funds for the state and local government are paid together. Now, with the Supreme Court ruling, the federal government, like you rightly referenced, will be paying directly to the local government. When it comes to allegiance, do you foresee any strain in relationship between the state government and, of course, the local government chairman?
I believe if we have had opportunity of reaching out to any of these local government chairmen, probably previous administrators would have been able to explain it better for us. But from a layman's perspective, I don't think there will be any friction between the governor and the local government chairman, because one, the governor will not have access to the account of the local government anymore, and there will be no meeting that the local government chairman and the governor will be sitting down to be allocating each of the funds. This should go here, this should not go there. But however, don't forget to that it's still going to be a political romance between the governor and the local government chairman elect, not fully whether they are from the same political parties. So there are still going to be a lot of issue of political romance that is going to be that will still ensued between the local government chairman and the governor. But however, some persons have equally suggested that it would have been more better for Supreme Court to at least extend the judgments to, giving the local government another autonomy of conducting their own elections without the involvement of the governors themselves. Because in terms of conducting the local government elections and the umpire that will conduct the local government strictly appointed by the governor in one way or the other, it will influence whoever that is going to emerge as a councillor or as the local government chairman. So if we have had a place where independent body that is quite different from that of the local government, that's quite different from the one that will be appointed by the governor, it means that you are going to have more credible elections, that people will likely going to contest clearly for it, or like one political party sweeping all the edges. So in all, it shows that meanwhile, probably there might not be any political differences at the moment, but as time goes by, definitely you are going to have some issues that are going to play out in terms of royalty, in terms of allegiance to the governor, because of course you know quite well that once the fund that is no longer coming from the government, the joint account, it means that the local government chairman will now have that boldness for them to be looking at issues confronting the local government and begin to do things that will better the people at the grassroots level.
Austin, thank you so much for your time on the news. Austin Azu, who is live in Delta State. Thank you once again. And now to a business-related story. Amidst the rising inflation and economic conditions of the country, President Bola Tinubu has called for calm among Nigerians amidst the short-term measures recently taken to address rising food prices. The president, who was represented by his vice, Kashim Shettima, revealed this at the book launch of the former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, in Lagos State. Our correspondent Adeshewa Odushoga tells us more.
It was a gathering of dignitaries from Nigeria's political class in honor of the former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, in celebration of his 85th birthday and the launch of his book titled My Life in the Public Eye. The event, which was held in Lagos, Nigeria, had in attendance the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, the Senate President, Senator Godwin Akpabio, former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, former Governor of Delta State, James Ibori, state governors, which also include the Lagos State Deputy Governor, state governors, among others. While speaking at the event, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu, vowed that his administration would address food insecurity in the country and drive down the cost of living for the citizens.
As we work to overcome our current challenges, we must remember that unity and cooperation are essential. Our people must support our administration's efforts to create better living conditions for all.
I'm sure today you are delighted that you are alive to see the renewed hope agenda for this country. And in your lifetime, the hope of Nigeria will not be betrayed.
Other dignitaries at the event took turns to laud the notable contributions of the former governor and celebrant Olusegun Oshoba.
Dual way of mentoring people like us. On behalf of myself and my entire family, our leader, Olusegun Oshoba, Aremo, I thank you. I wish you very well, and God will continue to bless you.
This is a great day, and I must be here to celebrate your 85th birthday, and I wish you all the very, very best.
I wanted to say this to you in private, but maybe I should say it in public. I think, sir, your generation also needs to help the new or the younger generation of journalists.
The event also featured Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Gboyega Oyetola, former governors of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi and Niyi Adebayo, and former Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Segun Adeshegun, among others. In Lagos, for News Central, Adeshewa Odushoga.
Residents of Sajeri community in Jere government area of Borno State are celebrating the completion of a significant project initiated by a National Youth Corps member, Zainab Yetunde Adams. Moved by the community's struggle to access clean water, the Corps member, Zainab, facilitated the construction of a borehole in the area. Our correspondent, Umaru Kirawa, tells us more.
It used to be an everyday affair for most families in Sajeri to trek of miles in search of water for both human and animal consumption. This water project, initiated by one of Nigeria's core members, Zainab Yetunde Adam, brings relief to the community's long-standing challenge to obtain potable water.
Wallahi to wannan taimako da ta zo ta mana Zainab ba abin da zamu ce mata sai dai Allah ya saka mata, Allah biya ta mafificin shi. Wallahi muna cikin tsakamuya sai mun tura yaran mu bare mun wataran ma yara na kaman mu kan mata ne ma zalla sai mun tura su uwa duniya tukuna su ce su nemo mana ruwa.
Allah ubangiji kuma ya saka mata, Allah ya ba ta karfi fiye da ta fiye da haka.
Local leaders and community members have expressed profound gratitude to Zainab Adam for her dedication and humanity.
Akwai mutum daya biyu 'yan kwamitin mun sa su akan bohol da za su kula insha Allah.
We can also mobilize another core members maybe to identify another site like the Bilama said they need more school in this community, so we can look for another core member who can take a personal community project to this community.
I will encourage more core members to carry on such activities which will better the lives of our host community.
The borehole's completion marks a happy moment for the community, significantly improving the residents' daily lives and access to essential resources.
They have to trek miles, and this in turn affects children's school age pupils, because if they have to go to school in the morning, they need to trek miles to get water, and in fact that water that they're going to get, they're going to buy it at 15 naira per bucket. So imagine, is that the one bucket that they used to cook, they used to bath, they used to wash themselves, use the toilet, wash their uniforms, and we want the society to continue to develop and be clean and healthy. So definitely, that's why I came up with this. And I might be the one that initiated this project, but I don't see myself as owning the project, because it's a community thing, it's a collaborative thing. I source the money from people.
Women of Sajeri community smile amidst the cheers as they were supported with grants. The point here is that no effort is little for community development, as it is never too late for well-meaning individuals and organizations to also contribute their efforts for sustainable growth. In Jere for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Polling stations opened across Rwanda for presidential and parliamentary elections, with the African nation's leader Paul Kagame set for victory and extend his iron fist rule for another 5 years. Rwanda's de facto leader since the end of the 1994 genocide and president since 2000, Kagame faces only 2 challengers after several prominent critics were barred from standing. The lineup is same as the last election in 2017, when Kagame obliterated his rivals with almost 99% of the vote, and there is little doubt about the outcome of this year's election. Leader of the Democratic Green Party, Frank Ebenezer, and independent Felipe Mpayimana were the only 2 candidates approved to run against Kagame out of 8 applicants.
Nzindutse kugira ngo mbashe kujya mu kazi kanjye. Ikindi ngomba gutora kubera yuko ari ingenzi kuri jye. Ni by'agaciro, mbona ariyo demokarasi nziza, aho abaturage twitorera abayobozi bakatuyobora, bakazanadukorera, bakaduhagarara naho tutari mu bijyanye n'iterambere ry'igihugu cyacu.
Naje kwitorera abayobozi bacu kandi beza, kandi abayobozi ngomba guhitamo ufite uwo natekereje ku mutima wanjye, abo ndi butore ni ngewe ubazi kandi bafite icyo batugejejeho. Rero nicyo cyanzanye hano, nahageze hano.
Mu gitondo nabyutse ndavuga ngo ngomba kuza gutora umuyobozi wanjye ugomba kunyobora igihe cy'amatora cyageze. Nabyutse rero navuga ngo ngomba kubahiriza isaha yo gutora, ndabyuka ndaza maze gutora, kubera yose byagenze neza cyane rwose.
And to talk about this, I am joined by a journalist in Rwanda, Glory Iribagiza. Glory, good afternoon from here. Glad to have you join me on the news. Glory, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic, Glory. I mean, just paint a picture for us. How are things taking shape with respect to the elections in Rwanda?
Yes, thank you. So there's a huge turnout since 7 a.m. because that was the starting time, and they're going to vote until 3 p.m. So there's a huge turnout. People are very happy because elections are to vote, but also to meet different people, people who live in the same area are voting from the same place. And it's divided in a way that voting takes less than 10 minutes. So there are long queues, but because it's organized alphabetically and among classrooms, mostly because people are voting from schools mostly. So everyone, when you come, it takes only 10 minutes for you to vote, and then you can go about your life. But some people decided to wait until 3 p.m. where they're going to witness the counting of the votes.
But then how would you describe the conduct of the election so far by the electoral officers? Would you say they came in time? Are they adhering to the rules of the game when it comes to election conduct?
Yes, absolutely. And not just the Electoral Commission, they actually deployed more than 100,000 volunteers to help everyone with the voting. So different people have where to vote, and I can commend some of the things they have done, such as providing access to maternal rooms, mother rooms, where mothers who have babies can breastfeed them or leave them as they go in the voting space. people with disabilities have braille papers to vote from, and also they're given priority. People living with disabilities, as well as pregnant women and the elderly. So one of the things that are not allowed to do is to wear party clothes or things that indicate your candidate. And so far, so good. Especially where I am currently, where I voted from, everything is smooth. Everything is smooth.
Well, we understand that Paul Kagame, who has been in power since 2003, faced same opponents in 2017 elections. And then we understand then he took nearly 99% of the vote. Do you foresee déjà vu or not?
So, I mean, with elections, no one can really say the outcome before, but I have to say that the opponents have managed to gather more people at their rallies. People are supporting them, especially because the Democratic Green Party of Rwanda, Frank Habineza, is a member of parliament, and he had vowed to do some things, and he probably delivered. And then there's Philip Maimana, who is also a public servant. So I would say they garnered many people at their rallies, more than they did in 2017. But also one cannot ignore the fact that President Paul Kagame has the biggest support in the country. And as much as they have manifestos and promise to do many things, I think Kagame is at an advantage because he has been in power for many years and he has many things to prove to the people. So I would say he will not get less than 95%. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a deja vu, but I think maybe the other candidates can garner more votes, but like they could not. You never know. So we're just waiting for the results.
Yeah, Glory, just help me feel the pulse of the people. Who do you think they want in power? Yes, in as much as we have, Paul Kagame in power and how he won the election the last time, but in terms of the people, in terms of their polls, who do you sense they want in power? Do you think it's Frank or Felipe or even Paul Kagame, and then why?
Yes, I mean, you don't need to be an expert in Rwandan politics to see that people really love Kagame, because in the past 3 weeks when they were campaigning, people spent nights at the public rallies and they turned out in hundreds of thousands. If you make a total, it's millions of people who went to see Kagame, and they thank him for many things. Like I said, he's at an advantage because he's been president and he has done so many things that makes him popular. So people would rather take chances with Kagame, whose actions they have seen, than another candidates, no matter how convincing they are. That's what I think. So young people, especially first-time voters, who are more than 1 million, are really excited, and they have showed up at public rallies. People took leave from their work to escort Kagame everywhere he went to the country. I mean, the love and the thrill for Kagame is very much visible online and offline.
Well, thank you so much. Time, like they say, will tell. Thank you so much for your insight on the news. Glory Iribagiza, journalist in Rwanda.
Yes.
Many thanks again for your insight.
Thank you for having me. Okay.
The death toll from a blast at a cafe in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, has climbed to 9 after a car bomb struck the venue packed with football fans watching the Euro 2024 final. An official from the National Security Agency, Mohammed Yusuf, said 9 civilians were killed and 20 others wounded in the explosion. Huge fireball and plume of smoke billowed into the night sky as explosion ripped through the popular restaurant in the center of the city on Sunday. Police officer Mohammed Salat got to the scene a few minutes after the blast and saw several bodies were discovered under the debris. U.S. President Joe Biden says politics should not be a killing field after an assassination attempt targeted Donald Trump on Saturday. Biden went on to describe the coming election as a time of testing. Trump was wounded in the ear after a gunman opened fire at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. 1 person was killed and 2 more critically injured in the attack.
Politics must never be a literal battlefield, and God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. We stand for an America, not of extremism and fury, but of decency and grace. You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that. Yes, we have deeply felt strong disagreements. The stakes in this election are enormously high. I've said it many times that the choice in this election we make in this election is going to shape the future of America and the world for decades to come. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back, take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here. Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke with him last night. I'm grateful. He's doing well, and Jill and I keep him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt they'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution, and the rule of law, to call for action at the ballot box, no violence on our streets.
Serbia plans to build its first wastewater treatment plant to tackle decades of water pollution caused by sewage and industrial waste being directly discharged into the Sava and Danube rivers. Despite decades of pledges to clean up its waterways, the Serbian capital is the only one in Europe to spew all its untreated wastewater into its rivers. Every year, the city of some 1.6 million people excretes enough sewage to fill 60,000 Olympic swimming pools into the Danube, Europe's second longest river, and its tributaries. Hopes for the city's water quality were raised in June after authorities announced they had found candidates willing to build a much-needed sewage treatment plant.
Ovo je jedna od crnih tačaka Beograda. Ovdje je veliki izliv kanalizacione mreže centralnog dela Zemuna. Znači, ne je bio toliki problem da postoji ured za prečišćavanje, to ne postoji, nego se direktno izliva u Dunav kao i nekoliko desetina i stotina većih i malih izliva u reke Savu i Dunav. I u vodi. Znači, sav živi svet se truje sa otpadkom i raspadanjem tih otpadnih voda. Da ne govorimo o tom. Zatim, ovdje borave, tu su dečji parkovi, ljudi šetaju i tako dalje, vazduh, znači smrada, tako da kažem da repetan miris od svega toga nije fikcija, to je materija. To znači unosimo u sebe.
Primećujem problem ulivanja otpadnih voda jer smrdi i nastaje pomor ribe. Kore imate Čukarički rukavac gdje se izliva fekalna kanalizacija, pogotovo u leti kad voda padne, smrdi mnogo.
The Venezuelan opposition has announced repression against them by the ruling Chavismo, with a new arrest of activists 2 weeks before the presidential election on July 28. At least 9 people have been detained in 4 states across the country, according to the campaign team. Another 14 were already detained by intelligence services, and 6 others are sheltered in the Argentine embassy in Caracas. Among those arrested is the owner of the truck that served as a platform for a rally by González and Machado in Valencia.
Lo que está pasando en Venezuela, todos sabemos que es histórico. Lo que ya pasó en Venezuela es histórico. Esta tiranía ya la derrotamos. En los corazones y en las calles. Y si no, vean esto que está pasando aquí.
Fueron 5 personas en concreto, 5 damas, 5 mujeres, que se llaman Texalia Vaquero Rojas. Esta ciudadana, con cédula de identidad 18.537.067, es diputada al Consejo Legislativo del Estado Aragua. Son personas que están directa e indirectamente vinculadas a funcionarios públicos municipales y a funcionarios electos por los aragüeños en el Consejo Legislativo Estatal. Esto es delicado porque estamos hablando de funcionarios públicos que reciben órdenes de violentar a personas que, como nuestro candidato Edmundo González Urrutia y nuestra líder, están simplemente ejerciendo su derecho político en un momento en que el país ha sido formalmente declarado en campaña electoral.
You're watching News Central Television. Let's take a short break. Stay with us. In sport, Nigeria's Quadri Aruna is expected to be drawn by in the first round of the men's singles event of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games based on its current world ranking as the draws for the table tennis events approach. Aruna and Egypt's Omar Assar stand out as part of the 16 top seeds who have qualified for this year's event. Aruna, who made his history as the first African to reach the quarterfinals of the table tennis event at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016, currently holds the 19th world ranking, while Assar, who is the second African to reach the quarterfinals, is rated 22nd in the world. The official seedings for the Games will be based on the July 16 ITTF World Rankings. According to the Africa Table Tennis Federation, the two African stars will be among the top seeds, and they are expected to kick off their campaign from the second round of the tournament on July 28th at the South Paris Arena. Germany striker Thomas Muller said on Monday he was retiring from international football after a disappointing Euro 2024 that saw the host nation eliminated in the quarter-finals. After 131 national team games and 45 goals, he's saying goodbye. He said this in a video statement announcing his decision. Muller, who turned 35 in September, was a key member of the German team that won the 2014 World Cup. The charismatic forward also scored the opening goal in Germany's unforgettable 7-1 win over the host Brazil in the semi-final. Argentina beat Colombia 1-0 to win a record 16th Copa America title, despite the game being marred by a delay kick by 80 minutes because of trouble outside the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Lautaro Martinez struck in the second half of extra time from Giovanni through a ball to secure the win for Argentina. Captain Lionel Messi was left in tears when he had to be replaced midway through the second half after injuring himself while chasing the ball, but was celebrating his country's third successive major tournament at the final whistle. Meanwhile, kickoff was earlier delayed because of the chaos outside the Hard Rock Stadium, as organizers of the Copa America said ticketless fans tried to get into the ground, leaving some fans waiting for hours in the Miami heat for the gates to open. And that's all on the news, but before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Security tightened in Kaduna as proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria plans Ashura procession. Voting underway in Rwanda as President Kagame is set to extend rule. Death toll from Somalia cafe attack climbs to 9. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba. It's bye for now.